Hello everybody, Storm here. Welcome back to Factorio. In the last episode, we finished up the production and assembly of our rocket fuel modules. We have our combination of hydrazine and dimethylhydrazine over here to create the fuel canisters. And then we have a combination of our dinitrogen tetroxide and nitric acid to make our oxidizer canisters, and then we combine them to make our completed fuel modules. So those are now done. We need to get them loaded over here and ready to be put on the train. So let's do that. Keep working on this research. All right. I mean, we should just have a loading system that should just work. And probably be the wrong kind of belts, but, you know, is what it is. Oh, I don't... Yeah, there we go. That's what we're looking for. And yes, it is the wrong kind of belt. Now it is the right kind of belt. Alright, so... let's figure out where this is going to go. And yes, these underground belts are the wrong direction. Flip all these. Nope, that one was actually going in the right direction. Alright, so that'll work. Now we'll just need to wait for the construction bonds to come along and install that belt. And then we should be good to go for our hypergolic rocket propellants. I think I know why they went with this particular propellant, because it's more complex to make rather than using a more simple rocket propellant system, like, for example, liquid oxygen and hydrogen, which that's really easy to make. You just electrolyze water and you got it. Even say, for example, liquid oxygen and methane would be a relatively simple production chain. And also, like, pretty much anything that would derive from hydrocarbons, like RP1 or kerosene, and liquid oxygen. You're carrying the wrong belt, buddy. There you go. No, we're not going to research the jetpack. I mean, we could, but we have one more module that needs to be finished. Let's do it. Now, if you're not aware, what we mean by hypergolic propellants is that the two parts of the mixture, the oxidizer and the fuel, will ignite upon contact with one another. So there's no ignition system required, unlike with hydrogen or methane or kerosene or anything else like that. It needs some sort of ignition source to actually ignite the rocket engine. Once you create the fuel oxidizer mixture in the combustion chamber, with the hypergolic propellants, you just throw them in and they go boom. So it makes a very simple, very reliable rocket engine, because all you need is a couple of pumps and some method of mixing the two materials, and you got yourselves a rocket. They will basically turn on first time every time, assuming you can get both materials in the combustion chamber. And it's a rocket that can be turned on and off real fast. It can also relight pretty much infinitely. A lot of advantages to hypergolic propellants. The big disadvantage to hypergolic propellants is they are horribly toxic. And their reactant products are also very nasty as well. And they're fairly dirty to make. And require, again, complex industrial infrastructure to manufacture. Not like hydrogen, which could just be electrolyzed out of water or pulled out of the air. It's also not a very efficient propellant in terms of fuel efficiency. Alright, next up on the list is we need to actually go find our spaceport where we're going to assemble the rockets and launch them. And this is all to feed one rocket silo. One. Why is this at the one? I mean, we could make chemical furnace 4s. We probably should make chemical furnace 4s. Sintering oven 2s. 74. No, 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 no. $13. Much better. Okay, so let's go figure that out. Let's go figure that out first. Where did I park? Am I blind? No. I just parked on top of a tank. And now I can't actually get onto my plane. Well, I don't want to do it, but I don't have a choice. There we go. Okay. All right. Where are our... There they are. Chemical furnace 3s. So what do I need to turn those into chemical furnace 4s? Reinforced concrete bricks, tungsten plates, tungsten pipe, and electronic processing boards. Okay. Tungsten plate, tungsten pipe, electronic processing boards, and what else did I need? Reinforced concrete blocks. Reinforced concrete blocks. Okay. There we go. There they are. Reinforced concrete blocks coming through here, right next to where we have our stuff. Perfect. Now, here. All right. We also need to get this up there. Alright, well, I think the only real way I have to do this is to do that. And then here, what we want to do is we want to drop there. And I really should just go ahead and upgrade everything. Just do like that. Sure, do it. Now, here's an issue. Go from here. Should have come across just straight over here and then up. But I didn't. But I can. Alright. And then we need pass provider chests. Right there will do. Alright. There we go. What's your issue? Titanium pipes is your issue. There you go. More titanium pipe. These things just eat tons and tons of pipe. Alright, but there's enough there to get started. How many we're actually going to need? We need 13. Yep, we got plenty. Alright, now we need to figure out where it is we're going to put it. Where are we going to put it? I like putting it here. Yeah, that ought to work. Okay, so if we're going to put it over here, now, this stuff, that's being loaded on trains. There was something that was going to be loaded on... Yeah, the radars... And the radiothermal electric generators are on... We having to come over by, logistics. Robots. Alright, now the rest of this stuff is just going to come over on single trains. So... We're going to come up through here and have our loading base there. We should have plenty of room to do what we need to do. Just like that. Nope, not like that. There's a lot of trains coming through here. Yep. I double-clicked it. There we go. Now, how many inputs do we have that are they're going to be coming in by train? Um, we are going to need silicon ingots. Silicon ingots. And we're going to need a lot of them. If we just make it from silicon ore and carbon, it's going to require a lot. Almost 30 per second. Now, are we not making the silicon powder, silicon nitride somewhere? I feel like we are. Bots are never going to be able to deliver 30 per second, not consistently. There. There it is. And yes, it's available on a train. And how much are we producing? A lot. Not enough. That is going to get ramped up. Okay, well, let's head back over there. And we may need to significantly ramp up the rate at which we are producing silicon ingots. We have lots of silicone ore. Yes, okay. Right, so these are going to need to be bumped up to 4s. So all of these are going to be bumped up to 4s. How many of them are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We would need to bring up to 13 4s. Okay, so how much powdered silicon? We need 5. How many modules does it take to get me down to 1? 2. And in this case, what we're going to do, output on a loader. Alright, feed that beast. Alright, so how many more would we need to add? We would need to add 5, right? Yeah, 5. Easy enough. Okay. Well, what we'll have to do is we'll have to put it at that kind of an angle. Let's not run into that same situation we did before. Now the question is... do I have enough nitrogen for all of this? How much nitrogen is it going to consume? 381 per second. That's probably enough. Alright, so that's going to get me that. So then I'll have to come in on a train. Right, so our tungsten plate is going to come in on a train. Our silicon powder is going to come in on a train. Our tungsten carbide plate is going to come in by robot, I think. Because I don't think I have that on anything, unless I did. No, that's cobalt steel. Tungsten carbide. It's copper tungsten. Tungsten carbide is loaded onto a storage chest. Yep. Okay. That's the only option we have for that. Aluminum, titanium, and plastic. Hopefully we don't have to do another plastic facility, but it's a possibility. Alright, so that's done. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 inputs. No, it doesn't need to be like this. Okay, 1, 2, 4, 6, 8. Two, 3. I got to move that. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we are bumped into our roboports. Okay. There we are. I'm just gonna put the unloading. And we're going to use this method. Oh. Yeah, that one's gonna need some adjustments. Those are in the wrong spots. And those other ones are gonna need some adjustment as well. Fair enough. Alright, but I think we'll go ahead and end the episode here. And I will work on getting this loading area all set up and running for next episode, so we can start building the assembly facility. And start launching these rockets. Alright, but for now, we'll go ahead and stop here. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Go ahead, like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you next time.